Okay, when you're ready, I'm ready. The camera's ready. Ready?
I'm bouncing off what you said again, by the way, so the questions might be the same, and they might not be. Okay.
It's alright. It's alright if that one turns off because we've got that one.
Is that battery dying?
No, it's fine.
Yeah.
They're so little.
Stupid flip hands, I hate them.
Okay.
Is it on recording?
Are you gonna clap?
Yeah, I'm gonna clap in. Okay, ready? 3, 2, 1.
Kia ora, we are here with Matt Gibb from YouLive. Now, Matt, how long have you been in the media industry for?
Oh, too long. 12 years. I started in the year 2000, so I was 19. I was living in Christchurch, and then I auditioned for a job on a show called Squirt and moved down to Dunedin. So yeah, 12 years later, here I am.
And how long were you on Studio 2 for?
Studio 2 ran for a long time, like 7 seasons. So we started in 2004, and the last episode was sometime around October 2011? 2010? 2011? 2011? 2011? 2012? 2010?
2010.
7 seasons, however long that was. It was a long time.
Awesome. And what was the highlight of your career while you were on that show?
On Studio 2?
Yeah.
The thing about Studio 2 that was so great was how much access to the country we had. Like, we would just be constantly travelling around, meeting people all around the country, and so I got to go to Queenstown and Whangarei, the top of the North Island, you know, down to Bluff in the South Island, just basically covered the country for the show, and that was the best thing about it, just meeting Kiwis and meeting kids all over the place, seeing what they're up to, and just having a good time.
Where was your favourite place that you went to?
Favourite place we went, you know what, it was actually Whakatane. We had just the best time. We had 3 days and we went out to White Island and walked around, and that was like walking around on Mars, like this volcanic crater you get to walk around on. That was really cool, and for some reason there was something about that trip that we just all really loved. Like it was me and Jordan and a couple of the crew, and we just had the best time. So Whakatane was great.
That's awesome. And did you get any qualifications before entering the industry?
No, I didn't actually. I came in fresh and just auditioned for a job as a presenter, so I had no kind of clue as to what I wanted to be doing at that point in my life, and I thought maybe acting or even teaching or something like that. I was just doing university, so I was doing an English degree at university, and then took a little bit of time off to figure out what I wanted to do, auditioned for Squirt, got the job, and that was it. So yeah, kind of lucked my way into it, and from that point on I've just learnt things as I've gone. I've just picked up skills and asked questions and kind of built up production skills along the way.
That's awesome. So obviously you are a presenter, but do you do any other kind of things within the shows at all?
Oh, yep. So my main job now is a producer, so I do a little bit of presenting on YouLive, but the main bulk of my job is behind the scenes. So I produce the show, which means I organise guests, and I basically organise our staff and kind of roster people on and look after that kind of thing, come up with ideas for sponsorships and that kind of thing for the show, look after those, manage the music videos that get brought in, as well as on the show. The producer's role on the show is more of a director, camera operator, sound mixer, vision switcher. Like, we're a strange little show in that everything on YouLive is kind of run by one person. So it's there's a lot of other stuff that I do as well, which I really enjoy, a bit of camera work every now and then outside in the field as well.
That's awesome. So with YouLive or any show that you've been on, what's the worst thing that's happened to you on set?
Luckily, nothing has gone horribly wrong. Like, things go wrong every single day on YouLive. We muck up, you say the wrong word every single day. Like, you know, you're just not going to avoid that doing live TV. It's going to happen. It's the way you deal with it, I suppose. But what's the worst thing that's happened? I knocked Dana out once. That was pretty bad, I suppose. Although that wasn't actually on TV. We did that, we were rehearsing in these giant sumo suits for Studio 2. So we were going to, on the show, have a bit of a sumo wrestle in these ridiculous suits, inflatable sumo wrestler suits, except we got a bit kind of carried away, and both of us in the rehearsal jumped at each other at the same time. So we're both off the air jumping towards each other, and I'm a little bit heavier than Dana, it's fair to say. Quite a lot heavier, and boom, I hit into her, and she just was standing up, bam, just straight down, head into the back of the concrete floor, and was knocked out. So that was 10 minutes before the show was supposed to start. So the show didn't actually go to air that day. That was the only time that we didn't put a show to air, ever, because the host was unconscious and crying for the rest of the day. So that was pretty bad. I felt pretty bad about that.
Well, speaking of Dana, who you worked with, who is your favourite person that you have worked with throughout your whole career in the media?
I was really lucky. Dana was great. All the co-hosts I've ever had have been fantastic. Penguin, not so much, but that's another story. But I was really lucky to work with someone that I was really a big fan of when I was younger. when I was growing up, I used to watch the Son of a Gun show with Jason Gunn. That was my kids' TV that I watched. And then, weirdly, 15 years later, or how many years later, I'm actually find myself in the position where I was co-hosting a show with Jason. So we did the One's New Year's Countdown show we were co-hosting. So that was really cool, getting to work with a hero of mine. I've met Jason heaps over the years, but never really worked alongside him co-hosting, and yeah, it was great fun.
That's awesome. And is this something that you want to do for the rest of your life, or do you want to go into a different kind of career?
TV is all I know now. I've been doing it ever since I was 19, and I'm 31 now, and I guess there's no point changing it anytime soon. So I really love it. It's great. You get to meet so many different people. You get so many experiences that you'd never have if it wasn't for the job that I'm in. I love working at TVNZ. It's a great place. Heaps of great people work here, and the opportunities are always kind of coming along. So I'm keen to keep riding this weird wave that I somehow managed up on and see where it takes me.
And do you want to stay in New Zealand, or do you want to broaden it to the rest of the world?
Who knows? I mean, at this point, I'm not really thinking rest of the world. I haven't got a focus on trying to make it overseas or anything like that. Some people are really, really driven to do that. They really want to work in America or the UK. And for me, I'm quite happy here. So at some point, if I get itchy feet, I might go and try my luck over in the UK and try to get a job making coffees at the BBC or something. But at this point, I'm happy here.
Has anyone ever come up to you on the street and said something really weird or done something really weird?
You get a little bit of that every now and then. But overwhelmingly over the years, I've had nothing but positive responses from people. People are always keen to come up and say good day, and that's great. And if they've seen you on TV, then I know what it's like. When I was watching people when I was on TV, you'd feel like you know them, and so it seems completely normal and natural to go up and have a conversation. And that's cool. Like I'm all for that. I know some people have had some pretty weird experiences. Luckily, I've avoided them. But I remember one of the guys from Sticky TV apparently was walking along the street and got jumped by a bunch of young dudes who beat him up because they took Dragon Ball Z off TV. So, go figure. I know, but I've had nothing ever happen like that.
So that's obviously one of the cons in the job, is getting beaten up on the street when someone takes your favourite TV show off.
Yeah, so I just try to avoid taking anything off air. SpongeBob's still going, I think, so as long as that carries on, then I'll be okay.
So has there been any cons to your job specifically?
Cons? No, there haven't. The only I remember one I had one weird guy who was obviously on something crazy that was looking like he was going to bottle me, but that was fine. That got sorted out. And the only other time I can think of that was a bit of a pain was when I was just a bit upset because my nana had just died and I was at the airport heading down to Christchurch, and then it's weird. Then a lot of people kind of saw me and wanted to come up and have a photo with me at that time, and I was kind of like, don't really want to be putting on a public face at the moment. I just want to kind of get down to Christchurch and be with my family. But if that's the worst thing that's ever happened to me, then I'm pretty lucky.
And what's the one piece of advice that you'd give people who are looking at heading into this industry?
TV is a lot of fun, but it is a lot of work, and it's not all about sort of glamour and travel. And most of the time, you are sitting at a desk and you're kind of working, which is great. But what you have to be prepared to do is just be incredibly dedicated and not take no for an answer. If you want to break into the industry, you've got to learn as much as you can at school or at a tertiary thing. I mean, I kind of got into it in a bit of a fluke and didn't do any training, but that's not always the way, especially with presenting. You can sometimes luck your way in, but with the industry side of things, just learn as much as you can about all different types of TV, about camera work, about editing, about directing, and even into makeup and hair. If you want to know anything about the industry, try to know everything about the industry. Then whatever role you're going into, you can go into it knowing what people around you are trying to do and help them out as well. So, yeah. That's
awesome. Well, I think that's all the questions that I have. So thank you so much for doing this with us.
Thank you very much. It was fun. Cool.